Hey guys, welcome back to the Upload VR Showcase Summer Edition, brought to you by Polyarc, the team behind Moss. With me today is Zach from Salubu Productions. Say hello, Zach.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Great, cool. So if you didn't know, at the showcase we featured a new trailer for Vertigo Remastered. Just give us a rundown about what Vertigo Remastered actually is.
So Vertigo Remastered is a project that I started in winter of last year. It's basically taking another look at Vertigo, bringing all the things that I've learned and the new technology that I've developed for Vertigo 2, and applying them to Vertigo, and fixing all the problems with that, adding lots of new stuff. Yeah, it's really cool, and I'm excited to ship it.
So the idea for that did come from, obviously last year you released a demo for Vertigo 2. And I imagine you got some way into the project where you thought, hang on a minute, it would be a really good idea to go back and update some of this stuff.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about that for a long time because Vertigo, it was well received, but it did have lots of little bugs and issues uh, that I feel, especially at this point where there's lots of new things, like it doesn't support the index very well. There's just so much that I could do to improve that experience, smooth it out.
Yeah, so I guess for people that don't know what Vertigo is, would it be fair to describe it as kind of like a Half-Life inspired, almost like half parody adventure? Would you say that's how you describe it to people?
Yeah, it's very lighthearted, lots of humor, but a very Half-Life style kind of old school first-person campaign.
Yeah, and I think what was great about in playing it the original back in 2016 was you did capture a lot of that feeling of like being in Black Mesa in the original Half-Life and making those kind of weird, crazy discoveries with the aliens and all these different environments. How much of that is changing in this? How much of a retooling is it? Is there new content, or is it like a scene for scene remake?
There is a lot of new content. I've taken all of the most iconic parts of Vertigo, um, all of the general feeling and ambience, but then I've added lots of new stuff as well because as I'm working on it, I'm playing this level and I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if this happens? So I've added lots of new stuff in there as well. So it should be fresh even for players of Vertigo 1.
Yeah, and mechanically, I mean, I played a little bit of it. Mechanically, it feels just a little different. I mean, again, you've taken the stuff from Vertigo 2 in there. Um, how much of that was kind of maybe an inspiration from other VR games? Because I felt like the melee combat kind of played on a bit more of kind of the physical mechanics we've seen in other games coming out in the past couple of months. I don't know if that was an inspiration or.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a huge, really cool move towards more physics-based combat in lots of games. Boneworks kind of leading the charge on that front. And I've taken a lot of inspiration. So all of the guns are, physically simulated. All the recoil is physics-driven, melee as well. And I think that brings a lot just to the little details of combat, and it's really fun.
Yeah. So how long of an experience is it this time around with these new pieces added to it? Because the first one was quite a meaty game for the time.
hmm I haven't actually played it all the way through and timed it. I would estimate it's about the same length as it was because I've taken little pieces out and I've added little pieces in. So probably about the same length as Vertigo 1 or a little bit longer. And Vertigo 1 was about 4 to 6 hours for most people.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I remember being surprised at just how chunky, if that's the right word, it was back in 2016. Chunky is almost certainly not the right word.
I like it.
Good. What about in terms of like the story? Because story has become, particularly playing the Vertigo 2 demo last year, story has become a very big part of that game, right? And I feel like some of your storytelling techniques have maybe evolved a bit since the original game, and maybe you're finding ways to try and like put some new elements back into the original game with this.
Yeah, for sure. I've learned a lot in the intervening years about storytelling. I've had new ideas about the universe of Vertigo, and I'm adding lots of new story elements in that kind of support the original story and lead into Vertigo 2's story a little bit more. So expect lots of new characters, returning characters with like doing new stuff. Yeah, lots more little pieces of world building hidden around.
Hmm. And I mean, obviously, talking to you and playing your games, clearly you're a huge Half-Life fan, you're a huge Valve fan. Obviously, Alex has come out, and you spent some time working at Valve. You had like a small role to play in that game, and the Moondust demo that Valve put out as well. What kind of influences has working at Valve had on this project?
Well, it's been incredible, obviously, to kind of get a peek into how the developers at Valve work. Super talented people, and it's great to see how they incorporate ideas from the VR community and build upon those to make the super polished product that Alex ended up being. So I definitely learned a lot being there, and I'm able to kind of apply my ideas developing now.
And was it your work on Vertigo originally that kind of got you involved with them? Was it something that caught their attention?
Yeah, I think it was. Releasing a game is no small feat. It's kind of a miracle that I did it in the first place, but it, it it's definitely a good stamp of real world experience when you ship something like that.
Mm. So we are talking a July release for the game.
We are.
Yeah, and that's going to be on Steam VR, right?
Yep, Steam VR. It's going to support all the headsets.
Nice. Are you talking about potential ports to other platforms, anything like that right now, or?
I'm not looking into that right now, but I won't rule that out.
Cool. Awesome. All right, Zach, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Cool. All right, we'll have plenty more on the Upload VR showcase. Stick with us.